All right. Welcome to the 10K challenge. So glad you're here. My name is Terri Maxwell, and I have committed my life to helping conscious entrepreneurs grow and scale their impact. And Shiftco is one of the things that I do to help them do that. If you're new to Shiftco, we do free events like this almost every week. There's something going on at least 2 to 3 times a month. On October 26th, we have something called Lunch and Leap. I highly recommend it. You'll be working with Merritt, who is on here today, and coming up with new ideas. It's a great way to collaborate. It's a really, really powerful tool. And then on November 7th, we're doing something called Pure Confidence, how to overcome the fear of failure. So these are free to the public. You're welcome to join us. And the 10K challenge is part of that. My background, for those of you that don't know, I run a purposeful portfolio of companies. It's kind of like a purposeful Shark Tank. The first brand that we launched was Succeed on Purpose. The second was Ignite on Purpose. The third is Promote on Purpose. You can see there's a theme. The fourth is Talent on Purpose. And all of those businesses are part of the Share on Purpose portfolio. And then a couple of years ago, we launched our fifth concept with some investors that were actually clients of mine. We created Shiftco, and Shiftco is about 50% of my time is dedicated to Shiftco. 84.5% of our members have doubled their business in 6 to 18 months of being on the platform. So Shiftco was our fifth concept. And currently CEO of Shiftco. I'll be passing the baton sometime in the next couple of years, like I always do. But Shiftco's claim to fame is it's a community, it's a platform, you get coaching and mentoring, but it works. 84.5% of our members have doubled their income since joining Shiftco, and just delighted to serve you. For those of you that are members that are on today and or listening in, you know how unique it is. You know how committed myself, our leadership team, our board, our coaches and mentors are to your success. All of us collaborate to help you be successful, and it truly takes a village to raise a conscious business. So I'm going to be talking about the 10K challenge. The 10K challenge is a threshold that a large percentages of businesses do not cross. We're going to be talking about why they don't cross it. And then we're going to be going through the sub phases. Now, as part of that, I have some music, but my audio is not quite working right. So I'm just going to skip that. Unfortunately, I had some fun music, but my audio is just not working quite right. So let me put into perspective what I mean by most businesses do not break the 10K level. 24.8 million businesses in the United States. It's even larger when you look at it globally. 81% of all businesses are non-employee firms, which means they're a solopreneur or a familypreneur, like we have, or a familypreneur. A micropreneur, which was family or a solo with some contractors, but no employees. So put that into perspective. And incidentally, these percentages follow the global trends as well. The global side is just a tad. Some markets in Europe are a little bit higher and some are a little bit lower. But it's fascinating. 19% of all businesses in the United States have actual employees. So that's kind of sobering if you think about it, because a lot of the training that's out there is for employee-based firms. Let's kind of look at it from a different data set. And this is actually from SBA. 62% of all businesses earn less than 250K. It's hard to survive as a solopreneur with a couple of contractors on 250,000 when you add in you had taxes, you had all the business expenses. I need money for my website. I've got to have a contractor to do this. By the end of the day, a business like that, the entrepreneur is barely making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. That's not cool. And that's always bothered me. 17% make it to 250 to 500K. So not even to $1 million in revenue yet. only 7% make it to $1 million. That's a lot. Like, I mean, if you think about only 7% of those businesses that are in the non-employee firm, I'm sorry, only 7% of businesses, according to SBA, make it above $1 million. So that means that there's this massive misunderstanding about what it actually takes to get a business to the first threshold, which is 10K a month. The second threshold is above 250 to 300. There's massive misunderstandings about what that takes. And I've been studying this for the last 14 years as somebody who invests in businesses, as somebody who's been training entrepreneurs for about 14 years. It's a pretty interesting statistic. And again, some countries in Europe are a little bit higher than the statistics from Fundera and SBA. Some in Europe are lower than that, but it's pretty much uniform across the board. So just think about the magnitude of that for a second. And if you look at just the disproportionate percentage, when we think about a business, we think about a larger business that has more than 50 employees, more than 100 employees, 10,000 employees, 20,000 employees. We think about that, but the vast majority of businesses are way smaller than that, way smaller than that. So as I've looked at this data set, I stumbled across another important statistic that's important to know, and that is exits. An exit is when somebody quits or sells. That's an exit. So you either stop doing the business and you shut it down, or you sell it. So 70% of all businesses exit, according to Fundera. 30% continue to go. And I was curious about why is that? And what they also found in Fundera is 20% of the people who start a business quit or stop, 20% in their first year. Another 10%, now a total of 30, quit or stop. You typically don't sell a business that quickly, so it's going to be quitting or stopping. 30% by the second year. By the fifth year, it's as high as 50%. You might see some exits there depending on the business. And then 70% quit, stop, or sell by the 10th year. That bugs me. I want more people to make more money and to be more successful. So my experience with these statistics is the first 20% that stop in the first year, they realize how hard it is, and they stop before they truly start. And I see this all the time. And when I come across those people, I say, don't join Chipco. Make it through your first year and then come back. And honestly, that's why we give away so much free training, is if somebody's in their first year and they're not really sure that they have the stamina and the guts to really gut it out, I don't want you to spend any money with us. Use our free training. When you make it past that first year and you have those gut check moments, then you can pay us a couple $100 a month to help you grow. And I know that might sound a little cold, but hear my heart on this. I don't want people to waste their money if they're not going to have the stamina to really make it, because 20% out of the gate stop in their first year because it's hard. Another 10% try for another year. These are the folks that I love to serve, because they typically have bounced around from one coaching program to another, thinking that this Tony Robbins or whoever it is has the magic bullet to making them be successful. The magic bullet is not the coach, it's you. One of the reasons why Shipco's had so much success, again, 84.5% of our members have more than doubled their income in 6 to 18 months of joining us, is because we work on the inside. We work on mindset. We work on perseverance. We work on confidence. We work on prosperity. We work on these intangible elements, which actually really contribute to your success. Yes, we teach you the business stuff too, but we know that the internal piece is really key. So 30% by the second year have stopped. By year 5, 50% of people, and most of our research is the vast majority of them have returned to a corporate position because it feels easier than being an entrepreneur. Notice I said it feels easier. It's not easier. It feels easier. We all know it's not, but it feels. And then the remaining 20%, now it's for 70% of the total, either sell, merge, or exit in some way. They transition. So only 30% of all businesses are a going concern. Only 30%. And that bothers me because today, the vast majority of businesses that are being started to make a difference. In fact, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor said almost 50% of all businesses today in the last 2 years have been started by a founder who wanted to make a difference. And so instead of worrying about, what's wrong, I always look for, well, what do the people have in common where they keep going? So the 30%, let's not look at the 70% anymore. Let's look at the 30%. What do those 30% have? And how can we harness that to help more impactful entrepreneurs, more conscious entrepreneurs have a bigger impact and, quite honestly, make more money? And here's what we found. Number one, when the business is more than a source of income, so meaning it's designed to make an impact, they're more likely to stay in it. And I found this to be true in my own portfolio. When I started Share on Purpose, we invested in, at the time, purposeful ideas and conscious entrepreneurs. This was 15 years ago. And what I found is when I looked at the concepts that we were investing in year 1, year 2, and I looked at the ones that were quitting, the ones where the business was purposeful, they knew they were on this earth to make an impact. They knew this is the thing they're supposed to be doing. They couldn't quit. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. Investing not just in any business, but investing in purposeful entrepreneurs is a great investment because they're less likely to quit. Makes total sense. But the second thing that we found is, of the 30%, they mastered something that we call FD squared. Okay. Fit, differentiation, and demand. And I want to talk about that. What fit is, and absolutely 100%, let me back this up one quick second, because this is an important. 100% of the businesses we studied that were in this 30% that cracked the 10K barrier, meaning they made 10K a month, $120,000 a year. That's a very important barrier, as you'll see in a minute. 100% of those businesses mastered FD squared. So what is FD squared? For those of you that are not familiar with SHIFCO, it stands for first fit, building a business that fits who you are naturally. That's the key to fulfillment. If you are not the kind of person that you want to build and scale the business, don't build the business that way. If you are the kind of person like me, I'm a builder, I want to build this and I want to build that and I want to build this, then we have to make sure the business fits you. That's how it's fulfilling. Like, I wake up every day and I love what I do and I feel like I'm living this dream. I get to do all these amazing things with all these amazing people. I have a hard time not working sometimes because I love it so much. So fit is key. The other two are very important. Differentiation, and I want to define that, means being different in a way that matters to your buyer. What we found with differentiation, it's the key to making your business simple. What do I mean by that? When somebody comes across SHIFCO, they instantly recognize, when our target market, I should say, comes across SHIFCO, they instantly recognize that SHIFCO is for them. And the reason for that is because of the way we've defined our differentiation. We're not for everybody. We're not trying to be a one size fits all. If you're trying to use your business to make a difference, if you want to grow it more profitably, if you want to make it easier, if you want to work on yourself as well as your business, SHIFCO's a fit for you. And we know that because we've done the differentiation work. So differentiation isn't just about being different. It's about being different in a way that matters to your buyer. So that when the buyer sees you, they're like, where you been my whole life? I've been looking for you. That's what you're trying to create with differentiation. And the last is demand, creating a demand generation system. And system is a very important word, through value rather than promotion. That's the key to freedom. So what we found is that conscious entrepreneurs have to master FD squared, fit, differentiation, and demand, to break the 10K barrier and beyond. Remember, 100% of those 30% of businesses had mastered FD squared. You've got to have it, but it's got to be meaningful. And what meaningful means is there's a higher purpose to your business, and you understand how to communicate your value, and you understand how to communicate your value in a way that generates demand. That's how you create impact. All right. So now, what's so magical about 10K? Why do we run the 10K challenge every quarter and give it away for free? Well, here's why it's important. When you break the 10K barrier, you have the funds and the resources to hire people to do the things you don't enjoy. And for most people, it's accounting and social media. Maybe it's project management. If you're below 10K, you don't have enough money to consistently hire people to do the things you don't enjoy. And then the business becomes a low-paying job. When you have to constantly do the things you don't enjoy, the business becomes a low-paying job. So when you break the 10K barrier and we work on your profit, we work on the scalability of the business, you now have money left over to hire people to do things you don't enjoy. And when that happens, you get to focus more on the work that you do enjoy, which is why I love my life, because 70 to 80% of what I do every single day, I love. You also can begin to build a retirement nest egg. There's kind of a joke in the private equity world and with wealth managers. You've got entrepreneurial wealth, which basically means you have typically credit card debt. And then if you break some of these barriers, you've got a baby nest egg. And then if you scale, you tend to create truly a wealth system that is self-generating. So we want to help you create a wealth system that's self-generating through your business. I want you to be wildly prosperous so that you can give back to your community, that you can turn around and make your family's life better, and help more people in the world. And then the other thing about breaking the 10K barrier, why is this freezing up there, is you can take your family on vacation. I just did that. I took my family to Corpus Christi. We watched the eclipse. We took the nieces and nephews, my mother-in-law. It was amazing to be on the beach when the eclipse came through. You need that. And then lastly is you can invest in yourself. So that's what's magical about the 10K. Question is, how do you do it? And that's what we're here to learn today. Now, one of my favorite quotes is, your business grows as you evolve. And I believe, many of you know I'm a huge fan of conscious capitalism. And I think what conscious capitalism taught me is sometimes it's not about the business. Sometimes the business is showing me where my work is on the inside. Your business grows as you evolve. And that's why we work on these things in ShiftCo, and that's why we're going to be working on them in the 10K challenge. And for those of you that are guests, we're going to be giving away some free coaching, and I'm going to be doing that coaching myself personally to show you both the power of ShiftCo, but to show you that you have it on the inside, that your success starts in here. So the business grows as you evolve. So what if you could build a business that made a difference and created financial freedom? What if you could do that? That's what the 10K challenge is designed to do. And so one of the things I've been hearing frequently since I started working exclusively with conscious entrepreneurs, but wait a minute, I'm not driven by money. And I'm like, okay, there's truth to that, but what if money were just a tool? What if money were just an impetus to make a bigger difference? And if I'm truthful with you, I would tell you, I struggled with this for probably 10 of the 15 years I've been a conscious entrepreneur. I gave too much. I invested in some of the wrong things. I trusted too much. I trusted when someone said they were going to do something, they were going to do it. I price things lower than the value because I'm not motivated by money. I'm really motivated by impact. I'm driven by impact. The thing though is part of the way that you create impact is by increasing the profitability and the scalability of your business. And that is something that we have to work on as conscious entrepreneurs. And I really believe that money is just an energy exchange of money and impact. It's just an energy exchange. And the energy part of it matters. So how do I get to 10K is a bit of a journey. And I'm going to take you on this journey from our research. We're going to talk about the 4 sub phases from 0 to 10K. And then after 10K, there's 2 very distinct paths to go from 10 to 30K. They're very distinct, 2 very different ways of going there. And then once you get there, you can go to $1 million. And there's 8 things that you need to go from 30K a month to $1 million a year. And we've researched all of those things, but since this is just the 10K challenge, we're just going to focus on the 10K. I'm not going to focus on the 2 areas to go from 10 to 30, and I'm not going to focus on the 8 to go from 30 to $1 million. We're just going to focus on these areas related to FD squared to get to 10K. And then I'm also going to give you strategies for each of these. So notice that this picture is like a roller coaster. Because it is a roller coaster. The hardest part is 0 to 10. And then 10 to 30 is super hard. It's hard in a very different way than 0 to 10 is. 10 to 30 is hard in a very, very different way. Ironically, the folks that drop out in between year 2 and year 5 almost always get stuck between 10 and 30. A large portion of them, but a lot of the quitting and a lot of the stopping and making new choices, and maybe it's easier to go get a job, typically happens 0 to 10. So this roller coaster ride, we've identified 4 phases. The first phase is it's a new business, or what I call a lifestyle business. Lifestyle business might be, I have a significant other, they earn a good income, I want to make an impact, but I want to keep my hours finite. If that's you, that's totally cool. The way that we help those folks is we work on something called Business Simple, and we help you make the business more scalable so you can make more money in less time. And a newer lifestyle business is, I want to make the impact in the world, but, and that but is really important. Typically new and lifestyle businesses are around 0 to 3K a month. Some people get a little higher, but it's still a lifestyle business, and that's fine. It just kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. And for those of you that are international, take dollars and turn it into euros. The research pretty much lines up in Europe as well. The orange area is a really, really important one. And I use orange because danger, 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 danger. A lot of times people are growing their business, but the truth is they don't really enjoy it. I see this a lot. And one of the businesses I created was like that. I don't really enjoy the clients I work with. I don't really enjoy the business, and we got to do something different. So it's growing, and I could scale it, and I've gotten through my fear, but I don't really, if I'm honest with myself, I don't really enjoy it. And typically that starts to show up between 2 to 5K, is where it really starts to show up. And a lot of times people will push through that. This is typically when we see them joining a lot of different coaching things and kind of going in this circle and getting on a treadmill, trying something new. When reality, they just would ask themselves, do you really like what you do? No, I don't. The third is, I love it, but oh my God, it's hard. And I just don't seem to have the time. I don't have the time to grow the business. And they get stuck in the get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work. This is also a place where the purple is, where we see lots of people deciding to do something different, and they shut the business down or sunset it or something. when they're stuck there. And then the last, typically that shows up around 4 to 7K. And then the last one is somewhere around 6K. They've gotten through the get the work, do the work, and they're really ready to scale, but they're not sure how to do that. So we're going to break these down just a little bit, these 4 stages, and give you some specifics. And feel free to take a screenshot of this. Newer lifestyle businesses, typically the revenue is 0 to 3K a month. I really want to make the impact in the world. It's purposeful. Some of the behavior and the readiness that we see is there's a tendency to overthink things, or I need to make it perfect. One of my favorite ShiftCo members is stuck in this. It's a lifestyle business for her, and she constantly is overthinking and reiterating and overthinking and reiterating. And that is a pattern, kind of analysis paralysis. Another thing that we see is inconsistent actions related to demand gen. I've got time. I'm going to do some demand generation awareness building activities. Oh, got a little busy, not doing that anymore. Oh, I got to get back to doing demand gen. And then the other thing that we see is they're not moving forward because the inner work, they don't want to face some of those fears and doubts on the inside, which you have to do to get above that. Second phase is growing, but something is off. This is really a heartbreaking area. We developed a whole pathway just for this because we were seeing it so frequently. Somebody that loves to cook starts a cooking business, starts a personal chef business, but now that they're cooking all the time, they don't enjoy it, and they find that's a very hard business to scale. But they don't really know they're earning enough money to pay the bills, and they don't know how to stop. So we'll come back to each of these and go in a little more in detail. And so the truth is, I don't really enjoy my clients or the business. Like, I like to cook when I was doing it for my family, a few hours a week, but doing it 60 hours a week, no, don't like that. Behavior and readiness is I'm not motivated like I used to be. I'm not sure if it's the work or the clients. It feels heavy. I'm not sure what to do. And so this particular area, we're going to come back to the solutions in just a minute. Third one, also, this is really painful. When these people come to ShiftCo, they almost always come directly to myself and another phase coach, because we are really skilled at getting people through this phase. This is the get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work. Typically, this happens 4 to 7K. I love what I do, but I don't have time to grow the business and take care of my family and have, do my exercise routines. And they're really stuck in the get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work. And that'll wear you out. You've heard the saying about it's not the journey, it's the pebble in your shoe that wears you out. This phase is where that shows up. There's just not enough time to get new clients or grow the business to the next level. And I just feel like I'm stuck and I can't get there. And then the last phase is, and we recognize this, the mentors that work for ShiftCo, that work with ShiftCo, are really good at identifying this. Fit, differentiation, and demand is solid. And now we're really ready to make the business scalable and fire on all cylinders. That typically happens above 6K when we address some of the ones in the phase before that. Okay, so what are some of the strategies? And then we'll talk about some realistic expectations. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to join some coaching groups. If you're already in ShiftCo, you'll get one set of options. If you're not in ShiftCo, we'll be giving you some other options to help you until you're ready to join ShiftCo. So back to the same chart that I just went through. So there's 4 strategies, one for each phase. In the newer lifestyle business, the strategy is what we call Jumpstart. In Jumpstart, it basically is kind of looking inside, and we're asking ourselves some tough questions. Do you really want to grow the business, or is it just a lifestyle business? Let's call it what it is. If it's just a lifestyle business, what part of it do you love? Let's only do that. Let's max out at around 3 to 4 to 5K a month and be done. And you're going to work 5 to 10 hours a week doing that. And let's just call it that. Or, maybe your actions are inconsistent. And we have a coaching program called A-Teams that we can help you with that to help you get consistent with your actions. Or maybe you're doing I want to do my business, but boy, it sure was easy when I had a job and I got a check every 2 weeks. Oh, I want to do my business. Oh, but that job. And we have had people take Jumpstart who decided in Jumpstart to close the business down and go get a job. And typically that shows up 0 to 3K, but sometimes it happens a little bit later as well. They've scaled the business and then they realize they don't enjoy it. We put them through Jumpstart, and it just forces you to be honest with yourself. It forces you to really think these things through. We have a really great method by which we do that. And you define what the root cause is. You define what the options are. We evaluate the options. You make a new choice, and away you go. And so the Jumpstart group is there. The second one is I'm growing, but I don't really like it. I'm not motivated like I used to be. I'm not sure if it's the work of the clients. It just feels heavy, feels so heavy. In that, we have a program called Passion Pivot. In Passion Pivot, we figure out, why is it heavy? Sometimes it's just simply adjusting the target market or niching down or something like that. Sometimes it's a totally different business. One of my favorite Passion Pivot stories is we had a husband and wife team who have a digital business. He runs the web development side. They make good money. His portion of the business makes $5,000 to $8,000 a month. He hates it. And so what he really wanted to do is he wants to be in real estate, and he wants to have some properties and have an Airbnb. And so we went through Passion Pivot. We figured out what that was. We organized his options. We did a crawl, walk, run plan. His web business, he spends enough time to keep it above 5K. He's got now the Airbnb netting him a couple thousand a month. He's right back to where he was, but now he's enjoying a larger portion of it as he scales his Airbnb, and then he can invest in the second property. Eventually he can unwind the web development business, and away you go. So that's Passion Pivot. The third strategy is one of the hallmarks of ShiftCo. It's called Business Simple. It's a scalability methodology to make a business more scalable, so that you're not in the get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work, get the work, do the work. Now, for Business Simple to be effective, you've got to have figured out demand, and you've got to have figured out some differentiation. And it's almost like we have to put some pressure on the business. And then we've got 5 different ways to make the business more scalable. And that's what Business Simple is. And then the last one is called a growth sprint. A growth sprint, your fit differentiation and demand is solid. You've got some of the Business Simple things worked out, and you are ready to light it up, pop above 10K a month and go, 10, 15, 20, 25. And that's what growth sprint is. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be talking about how you can move forward. If you're a member, you're going to have a different set of options, because you're going to get into a specific small group where we work in one of these areas. If you're not a member, I'm going to give you some free programs to take, and then I'll personally do a coaching session with you to help you with this, in hopes that you can see just how incredibly unique and invaluable ShiftCo is, because we'd love to have you part of our community. But I want to make sure that you have what you need. That's my first priority. Okay, so what we're talking about here, another one of my quotes is, if you want something better, you have to be willing to do something different. Emphasis is do something different. So it's time to do something different. And regardless of which of those 4 areas, and I will put the chart back on at the end so that you can diagnose yourself after we stop the recording, is you can build and stay above 10K. And when I say build and stay, I mean that. What we don't want is you get it above 10K and then it slides back down to 5. And then you get it above 10 and it slides back down to 5. That's not scalability. That's frustration. So the scalability part is really important there. And one of my favorite things is you can and you will. You can and you will. And so part of what we'll be doing is working on mindset. So what I want you to do is, you can take a picture of the screen, but I want you to self-diagnose. And at the end, when I stop the recording, and we do some spot coaching, you can ask questions about where you might be. But I want you to just figure out which of those resonates with you and why. And you might say, well, a little of this and a little of this. Don't worry about that. I'll help you with that in a minute. And so in ShiftCo, if you're 0 to 3K, our research is we'll get you above 10K a month in 12 to 18 months. Pretty much across the board, we can do that. If you're 2 to 5, it's going to be less than 12 months to get you above 10K. Most of the time, we're seeing people get there between 6 to 8 months, just to kind of put it into perspective. 4 to 7K, easily 6 to 9 months have you consistently above 10K, well headed above that. And if you're above 6K, the growth sprint takes about 2 months to do, and then another couple of months to truly get all the infrastructure in place. And you'll shoot like a rocket ship through 10K and beyond. So kind of be thinking about that. And this is, just based on, 350 members, 2.5 years doing this, what we've seen. And we also have a little tool that you can answer some questions on the shiftco.org website. You can answer some questions. It'll tell you about how long it will take you to reach the goals that you've set for yourself. All right. So then the last piece is some very important lessons that we see across the board. These are things where you're working on a little bit on the inside, and then we're going to talk about the coaching group options. So if you're not a member, and you want to go through the 10K challenge, I want you to email membertlc@shiftco.global. We're going to give you some free training. So it's self-serve that match your phase, and you'll get one coaching session with me. And then you can evaluate whether or not you want to join us. If you are a member, you're going to, again, email membertlc@shiftco.global and copy your mentor. Copy me if you want, but definitely member TLC, definitely your mentor. And you're going to let them know which phase you're in. I'm in Jumpstart, I'm in Passion Pivot, I'm in Business Simple, or I'm Growth Sprint. If you're not sure, then email them and say, I listened to the 10K challenge. I'm not sure which phase I'm in. And they're going to send you a series of questions to answer, and we'll help you decide which phase you're in. Or if you think you've got a little bit of both, which happens sometimes. So you'll answer a couple of questions, and you're going to get assigned to a coaching group. 100% of the people that do the 10K challenge, that get into the coaching group, break the 10K and are well into shape. 100%. 10K challenge is one of the things that has really, really helped us raise our member success rate. You're also going to be working with an accountability partner in that group, because accountability, as you'll see here in a minute, is a really important piece. You'll also have a special Shift Connect group for support, and you'll get access to the mindset and pure confidence collabs, because a lot of the work we're going to be doing is on the inside. So that's how you can be part of Mission Possible and the 10K challenge. But there's some mindset things that I want to introduce you to. And that is, if you join any of our hubs or our Lunch and Leap programs, and they're free, like especially the Lunch and Leap that I talked about that's coming up on October 26th. Merritt and her team are going to give you rapid fire ideas for how you can really jumpstart your business. And you're going to see it's not just Terri, like there's this dedicated resource. I think we're up to 14 coaches and mentors that help you. And we're growing that base all the time. They're all here dedicated to your success. And Lunch and Leap is one of the best ways that you can see it. In fact, if you're not yet a member and you reach out to do the 10K challenge, one of the things we're going to have you do is attend Lunch and Leap, because you'll be shocked at how, with just a different way of thinking, which is what Lunch and Leap gives you, you can shift your thinking and shift your results. You also have to really understand the difference between the word decide, I'm going to decide that I'm going to grow a business. And decide is a verb. It means to solve or conclude, to determine, to bring something around, which is all great. But I believe that words create energy, and I believe you should declare. One of the things I worked with Ian Van Zant, who's been a coach of mine for 20 something years, is to declare what it is that you want, to declare what it is that you want. Declare means to make known or state clearly, to state in explicit terms. So one of the things I want you to do is wherever you are, and I'll go back to that chart in a minute, declare that you're above 10K, declare your business is simple, declare that you've made a passion pivot. Rather than just decide, which is an intellectual exercise, declare is put your whole soul into it, put your whole body into it, put your heart into it, to officially announce, to state emphatically, to manifest, reveal, and show. So I believe words create energy. So I want you to declare that you break and you tackle the 10K challenge. And as part of that, I've got a very interesting piece of research. About 7 years ago, I was asked to be on an advisory board for a company that was training professional athletes who had left their sport, how to start businesses. Natural fit for Terri Maxwell, right? And what they found is that athletes with just a little bit of business training were 3 times more successful as an entrepreneur than non-athletes. And I was sitting there, Miss Data Girl. I was listening to this presentation in my first advisory board where they were presenting this data that somebody who'd been an athlete, particularly at a professional level, with just a little bit of business training, they are 3 times more successful. And naturally, being the curious George that I am, I'm like, why is that? And here's what I found out. Athletes are trained to make moves, not be in motion. In motion is, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing my to-do list, I'm checking my email, I'm following up on this. Athletes know how to make moves. So I'm going to talk about the difference between a motion and a move. So a motion is the act or process of moving, AKA I'm doing stuff. I'm posting on social media. I'm attending a networking group. I'm writing this proposal. I'm doing this work for my client. Those are motions. Athletes make moves. A move is to go from one place to another. And this fascinated me. And I started bringing into some of my coaching and training of entrepreneurs how to think like an athlete, how to think in terms of moves. And I developed a mantra to make 3 good moves every day to grow your business. Intentionally to say, so when I wake up in the morning, I've got a long to-do list like everybody else. I highlight the things that are actual moves, where I'm making a move to go from point A to point B. So if you think about it, I'm a huge football fan. I'm also right now a baseball fan since the Texas Rangers are 2 up on the Houston Astros. And I'm pulling for a Phillies Rangers World Series, but I digress. Football is one of my favorite sports. And when you really think about it, what you have to do to be successful is you have to break your priorities into small little moves. So let's say I want to go from 5K a month to 10K a month. That can feel like a tall order, but if you break it down into a set of priorities and you break those priorities down to a set of moves and you just do a couple moves every single day, 3 moves against your priorities, your business is going to move forward. And so on my calendar, I have dedicated time every day to making my 3 good moves. I know what my priorities are. And on my calendar, I've got dedicated time and I know what my per priority, I know what my moves are. And on my calendar, I make those moves. It could be working on a strategic alliance. It could be raising capital because I'm an investor. It could be getting more speaking and podcasts, whatever it is. And that combination of dedicating time to making 3 good moves against a few priorities is how you move the ball down the field. And that's what we found in this study from this company that I was on the advisory board for, is athletes are more successful, 3 times more successful as entrepreneurs, because they've trained their mind and their body to think in terms of making good moves, not wasting any energy. So they're not going to be in motion. They're not just going to feel like they're doing stuff. They're going to do fewer things better. Let me say that again. Making moves is about doing fewer things better. So that is the 10K challenge. I'm going to come back to the slide that talks about what to do if you're not a member. You're going to email TLC, a member TLC at shiftco.global. We're going to give you some free courses and just tell us which subphase you're in, and you'll get 1 coaching session with me. My hope is that you'll see how amazing ShiftCo is and that you'll join us. But if you can't afford it right now, I get it. If you are a member and you want to take the 10K challenge, you're going to also email member TLC at shiftco.global, copy your mentor. If you can't remember who your mentor is, don't worry about it. Just email member TLC. We'll copy your mentor. Tell us what phase you're in. If you're not sure, let us know. I'm not sure. My revenue is here. We're going to send you a couple of questions, and then you're going to go into a coaching group. And in that coaching group, you'll be working with me and another seasoned coach. You'll be working with an accountability partner. You're going to have a special Shift Connect group, and you'll also get to participate in the Mindset and Confidence collabs. So that is, let me put the chart back up here for the different phases again, so you can see that. That is what we call the 10K challenge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording for those of you that are tuning in late or tuning in after the fact. I'll stop the recording. And then for those of you that are here live, I'll take your questions. And then I also want to put in a plug for some of the upcoming events that we have coming up. October 26th is Lunch and Leap. You do not want to miss that. It's 12 to 1 CT. You do not want to miss that. You will be shocked at how many great ideas you're going to get to really leapfrog your business. November 7th, 10:30 to 11:30 is Pure Confidence, how to overcome the fear of failure. It's a methodology to overcome fear. Join us for any of those events. And again, Terri Maxwell, it's great to serve you, and here's to you making a bigger impact.